This is the wedding that I planned in 4 weeks. Not 4 months, but 4 weeks. Because I was a full-time nursing student and I had to plan my wedding in between my nursing school schedule, and that only gave us 4 weeks to plan our wedding. So if you're planning a wedding on a crazy timeline, or if you just even want to know that it's possible to plan a wedding, a beautiful wedding at that, in such a short time, this is everything I did in order. I got proposed to on New Year's Eve of 2025. At the time, I was a full-time nursing student taking full-time classes. So by Christmas of 2025, we were dating only about 6 months. We took a trip for New Year's and flew to Paris, which was one of my dream cities, let me tell you. And to my surprise, on New Year's Eve, he proposed. I can get into it on another video of how we met, how he proposed and everything, but I want to keep this video strictly on how we managed to pull together a wedding in only 4 weeks. So being that I was in nursing school, you only get a certain amount of time off. So my schedule was that I was on 11 weeks and then had 2 weeks off. So we had to come back to America because now it was time for me to start my next quarter of nursing school. So that's another 11-week stretch. And if you know anything about nursing school, it just like consumes your whole life. And obviously during those 11 weeks when we first got back, I couldn't think of anything wedding related, anything of what we were gonna do, because your life in nursing school is just nursing school, nothing else. You are in nursing school, your whole life is consumed by nursing school. So I knew that quarter we were not going to get married from January to March, as much as we wanted to. If I was not in nursing school, we definitely would have got married much sooner than we actually did. But nursing school was really constricting my life as to how much time I had to plan. I had to find a dress. There was just so many details that go into planning a wedding that you don't even think about until you're actually planning a wedding. So we really had to plan strategically when we could even get married, like what is our timeline. So I knew from January to March we weren't gonna get married. We honestly wanted to get married in Europe. The holidays, everybody was either closed. I didn't have a dress. I didn't know I was gonna get proposed to. Like, you really know that I did not know I was getting proposed to, because in our engagement pictures, if you look up my Instagram at AlexFica, you will see that I am in a gold dress because I was truly unaware that I was gonna get engaged and proposed to. I have to make a separate video about the proposal, but let me stay on track. So my only times that I could possibly get married is either in March, end of March, early April, because that was my 2-week break, or we had to wait until June to get married because that's when my next time off from school would be. Because I knew I couldn't get married while I was actively taking classes, because your mind is just not there. You know, you're fully committed to nursing. So in March, I flew up to New York City to look at possible wedding dresses. Wedding dresses take anywhere 6 to 9 months. So going up for this trip, I knew what I was looking for on Fifth Avenue, all the big beautiful bridal stores that you see online. I went to Kleinfeld. I don't even remember all of the names of the stores that I went to, because so I ended up going to 4 bridal shops in 3 days and tried on over 25 dresses, because I could not find the one dress that I had in my brain that I was looking for. None of these stores had it. And the dress that I ended up picking was dress number 25. Everywhere that I went, they only showed me dresses that could work in my timeline, because the timeline was not moving. We were not gonna get married any later than June. Whether I was in a white trash bag or if I found a big beautiful dress, June was it. So after I find my dress in March, I come back down to Florida. I'm in my next quarter of school. So then April comes and goes. And now we are in May. So my mom's asking me like, Alex, what are we doing? You guys want to get married in June? That's a month away. What are we gonna do? So I'm talking with my now husband about it. He was my fiance at the time. And we're talking and we're just like, okay, let's pray about it. Let's put it in God's hands. If it is meant for us to get married in June, God will show us a sign and show us where we're supposed to get married and make it smooth and easy. Now, just keep in mind that we did get married in a Catholic church. Back from the trip in January, and we knew we wanted to get married in June, and we knew we wanted to get married in a church. We went to our local church and started our pre-Cana classes, and all the videos and everything that you have to go through to get married through the Catholic Church. We just don't know where and when, because our home church, it's not giving the big bridal grandness entrance that I personally was looking for. It is a beautiful church, but being from New York, I am used to the churches being wow, the double doors, the wooden chairs, like the aisles, the big ceilings, the artwork. That is the churches that I was looking for, and that is the type of church I wanted to get married in. I was really looking for the grand of it all. I really wanted the theatrics. I really wanted to be immersed in the Catholic Church, and with I just had this vision in my brain. I was just, where can we find this church to really immerse and get everything that I want aesthetically out of the church? We considered flying up to New York and getting married in a New York church. My dream church was St. Patrick's Cathedral, but clearly St. Patrick's Cathedral is booked out 15 months in advance, and there was no way we were gonna wait 15 months to get married. So that was off the table. Look at St. Patrick's Cathedral. That was the dream, but not the timeline that was available for us. So we prayed about it, where we would get married, how this would all work. And I go on Instagram as we're driving, because this was now Memorial Day weekend at the end of May. We're driving down to Tampa so that we could have a weekend at the beach. And I go on Instagram, and my first post on Instagram that I see is this girl that she just got married in Orlando in this beautiful grand church, and it's called St. James Cathedral. So I show this to my husband, and I'm like, look at this. It's a sign from God that what we were asking, what we just prayed about and asked for help to plan this wedding, if it's meant to happen in June, look at this wedding now that's popping up, and it's in Orlando, which is where we live. So I tell him the church that this wedding just occurred at. I'm showing him the pictures, and it is literally down the street from the apartment that he was living at, St. James Cathedral. So as we're on this drive down to Tampa, we see the church, we see the reception of where this couple just got married, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is where we're supposed to get married. We're supposed to get married at this church, St. James Cathedral. Then we're supposed to have our reception at Casa Feliz, which is also in Orlando Winter Park. And it's only about 15 minutes from the church. So we reach out to St. James, which is the church that now we are looking at to get married. Mind you, we are literally 30 days out. We don't have a venue booked, not a photographer, not a coordinator, no flowers, no cake, nothing. We have nothing booked. We're just in our brains like, we can make it happen. We always make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. So week 1, we lock in the venue and the date of when we are getting married. We confirmed that we are getting married on June 27th of 2026. That puts us 4 weeks out from our wedding date. We reach out to our venues, which would be St. James Cathedral and Casa Feliz, and they tell us that they do have that specific day available. So really quickly, we lock in St. James, pay the deposit, because you have to pay a deposit to like basically rent the church. Then we lock in Casa Feliz, which was our wedding reception venue. Now our wedding venue did require a day of coordinator, and they recommended a list of different coordinators that we can talk to. So that's where Monica comes into play. She was our wedding coordinator. Now Monica was responsible for getting everything done. I told her our situation. He works, he has a business, I'm full-time in nursing school. I can't fully process and dedicate everything to this, so Monica took care of everything. Monica presented us a couple wedding photographers that we could go through and see whose work we really loved and really aligned with our story. So as we're looking through her page, we find Kindle and Grain, which ended up being our photographers. We book a call with Kindle and Grain. They're available and they're ready to go and document our wedding. Once we had our venues booked, that's when we got to work making our wedding invitations. Now, because we're 4 weeks out, we didn't send out save the dates. We made our wedding invitations online and sent them out to all of our friends and family that we wanted to be at our wedding. Just to recap, week 1, we did the venues, we did the date, we did the photographer, we did the officiant, My dress was already found. We sent out our invitations. That's a lot. Now we're in week 2. That puts us 3 weeks out from the wedding. We meet with our venue, Casa Feliz. We do a run through of where we want everything set up. It is a historical home, so we really had to think about how we would plan this and where everybody was gonna be at. We did a tasting. The next thing for us to plan was flowers and cake. Flowers make or break your venue, and I am gluten-free, so I needed to find someone that could make a beautiful gluten-free wedding cake, because if not, I was gonna be on the toilet if that was not a gluten-free cake. And in the second week of planning, I also booked my wedding and hair makeup, which was Liz Santana. She is based out of Orlando, Florida, and she does phenomenal work. I did not do a hair trial nor a makeup trial. I solely trusted her Instagram work and work that she's done on previous brides. I did no trial of how I was gonna look on that day. I was going based off vibes and faith that she was gonna pull through and that I was gonna look the best I've ever looked in my whole entire life. Now we are on week 3, which is a week before the wedding. That Monday, we went to our reception venue and we did a tasting, and we did our linens, what type of plating, the napkins, what table dressing we wanted, what the forks colors, all the little details. That was done the week before the wedding. And we also booked our DJ a week before the wedding. And let me also throw in that we got our wedding rings a week before the wedding. So if you can see, I have my wedding band and his wedding band, we got a week before the wedding. We went to a local jeweler, told them what we wanted. They showed us what they had, and I fell in love with this wedding band, and that's how we got it a week before. And that is also the week that my husband picked up his custom wedding suit. Once we secured the wedding venue and the reception venue, my husband went and got his custom wedding suit made fit to him. We picked up his wedding tux week 3, which is the week before the wedding. Now we are on week 4. We have the flowers booked, the cake booked, the photographer, the DJ, the venue for the reception, the venue for the wedding. The place cards are being made of everybody's individual name of where they would be seated. And just keep in mind that in the midst of all this, at the end of week 3, we fly up to New York to pick up my wedding dress. And keep in mind that during all of this, I am actively in nursing school. Week 3, I'm done with school, taking hard classes, going through finals. And now I can fully start to decompress, because now it's really hitting that I'm getting married in a week. Somehow I convinced my husband that we had to take the drive down from New York with the wedding dress, because I didn't want him to have any inclinations on the bag size, how big the dress would be. If it's a small bag, would he think it's a small dress? If it's a big bag, he's gonna think it's a big dress. I really wanted to keep everything about my look of the day hush hush. I didn't want him to know anything. This whole week I was just keeping calm. I didn't want to let anything bother me. Anything that was wedding related went through Monica. She dealt with everything, because I was just trying to keep my cool and really in the moment of, oh my gosh, I'm getting married this week. If I had to do it all again, the number one thing I would pay for is a day of coordinator. They do so much more than just your wedding day. They plan everything to a T and keep you calm in the most chaotic time. Being that we did have such a short time, we did skip over favors. The things that I would say are worth stressing over is your photographer, videographer. Pictures that we have received are stunning, gorgeous, beautiful, more than I could have ever imagined, because the morning of the wedding I sent my photographer all the shots that I wanted to take, all the inspo that I had, and he so far delivered. Now when we get our wedding video, it should be any day now. Don't feel pressure to invite people just because you know them or they've been around. That does not matter. You have to invite people that would bail you out of jail tomorrow. So if you're planning a wedding in a short timeline, save this, send it to someone who needs it, and make sure you subscribe. I'll be sharing all my wedding and newlywed content here every single week, so make sure you subscribe and come back. I'll be sharing my newlywed and wedding content every single week here. So if you're a bride on a short timeline like I was, you can get it done. Don't worry, pray about it. Everything will work out the way it's supposed to.